Welcome to iLectureOnline. Now that we've seen some videos on the basics of free source RCL circuits in parallel, let's try an example. We're dealing with a resistor, an inductor, and a capacitor in parallel, no sources, no voltage sources, and we're given that the resistor is 2 ohms, the inductor is 0.4 henries, the capacitor is 25 millifarads, there's 0 voltage across the capacitor and 50 milliamps initially through the inductor, and we're supposed to find the voltage as a function of time for time greater than 0. So notice we're not giving out any hints, we're supposed to do it from memory, see if we can pull it off. So first of all, we need to make sure that we're dealing with an overdamped, critically damped, or underdamped system. So there's 2 ways to do that. One way is to see what the inductor is relative to this equation. For example, we're going to compare the inductor to see if it's greater than, equal to, or less than 4r squared c. So let's find out what 4r squared c is equal to. So that's equal to 4 times 2 squared times 0.025. So what is that equal to? Let's see here, that's 16 times 0.025, which is 0.4. And notice that the inductor is 0.4, so we know that 0.4 equals 0.4, which implies that this is critically damped. We can also check to see if alpha is again greater than, equal to, or less than omega sub naught. Now, what is the equation for alpha? Well, it's 1 over 2RC, and we're supposed to compare that to omega sub naught, which is 1 over the square root of L times C. All right, so let's compare those two and see if they're equal to each other, because obviously if this indicates critically damped, then we would assume that those two are equal as well. So let's check. So I have 1 over 2 times 0.025. And we want to know if that is equal to 1 over L, which is the square root of 0.4 times 0.025. All right, let's see what those come out to be. So we have 4. Oh, did I forget my parentheses here? Certainly did. All right, so 4 times that, well, that's equal to 0.1. 1 over that would be equal to 10. So 10 question mark, let's compare that. So we have 0.4 times 0.025, take the square root of that, take the inverse of that, and yes, of course, you would expect them to be the same. They're equal to each other, so therefore, again, we realize now that this is a critically damped system. So if it's critically damped, we can say that the voltage as a function of time is equal to A1 plus A2 times T multiplied times e to the minus alpha t. Alpha, of course, which is defined right here, which is 1 over 2RC, which we now know what that is equal to. So we can plug that in. So we have the voltage as a function of time is equal to A1 plus A2 times t times e to the minus 10t. So all we have left to do now is determine what A1 and A2 are equal to. So we can do that in several ways. One of them would be to say, well, let's figure out what the voltage when time equals 0 is equal to, and I believe that's given. Right here, they tell us it's equal to 0. So the voltage when time is equal to 0 is equal to 0, which is equal to, now let's plug in 0 for all the t's in here, which is here and here. So that gives us A1 plus 0 times e to the 0, which of course is equal to 1, and so this is simply equal to A1. Wow. That means that A1 is 0. Yes, it is. So therefore, A1 is equal to 0. So we don't have an A1 in there. All right, let's now check out A2. How do we do that? Well, we can figure out the derivative of the voltage, the dV dt when V is equal to 0. And that is equal to minus the initial voltage plus R times the initial current divided by RC. So let's see what that is equal to. And then we can take the derivative of that and set those equal to each other to figure out what A2 is equal to. All right, so the initial voltage we set was 0. So this is equal to minus 0 plus the resistance 2 times the initial current, which is 0.05. divided by R, which is 2, times C, which is 0.025. Okay, this divided by that is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 2, is 1 I should say, so that would be equal to minus 2. All right, so now we take the derivative of this equation. I should say derivative of this equation. Let me put a little star there. So let's take the dv dt. And now we realize, of course, that we have a product. So we have the first, a1. Now, of course, since we already know that a1 is 0, we could have taken away, but I'll just do it in a general sense, plus a2t. So it's the first times the derivative of the second, which is minus 10 times e to the minus 10t, plus the second, e to the minus 10t, times the derivative of the first, which is simply a2. And of course, we now know that dv dt, when it is equal to 0, dv dt, when that's equal to 0, is equal to minus 2. And now we plug in zeros for every t in this equation here. So that would be equal to a1, which we know is 0. That would be 0. So 0 times that, that's 0. And then we have e to the 0, which is 1. So simply we have a2. And now we realize a2 is equal to negative 2. Wow, this came out to be a little easier than I thought. Okay, we now have the values for a1 and a2. So now we can write that dv dt is equal to, going back to this equation right here, a1 is 0, a2 is a negative 2, so it's negative 2t e to the negative 10t. And that would then be the equation for the voltage from time being greater than 0. And that is how it's done.
You didn't expect it to be 0?
No, I didn't, but it is. Look at my notes. That's a kind of an unusual case. Usually you have a bias. That's what the first one is, but we didn't see it, so it comes out to be correct.